Hi and welcome. Welcome back to the kitchen table. I've just put the kettle on and made myself a drink. Maybe you'd like to pull up your chair, put your kettle on and sit down while we have a chat. Today I'm going to have a gentle and honest chat about face cream and skincare after 60. My mum, she taught me from, an early age, I wasn't quite 14, to use face cream every day, like a moisturising cream. She always used a certain one, and at the time you didn't really think about what she was saying, but she mentioned about massaging the skin and feeding the skin. She said, it's all about massaging, and she goes into detail about what happened to her. So I did listen to her, and I've kept that habit all of my life. She liked a certain cream, and it's a well-known cream today. And back then, it was a well-known cream as well. It was probably one of the only ones. There was Nivea and there was Oil of Ulay. Well, she did buy me some, and I used it every day, but my skin was very sensitive and it was a little bit too harsh. And back then they didn't really cater for overly sensitive skins. So what I did do, there was a local health shop or a stall on the market, and they sold cream for sensitive skin. So it was a cheap brand, so I always use that, and it worked fine for me. I think it was called Peach Anti-Wrinkle Cream, and I know everybody used to laugh at me at the time, but it's something that I've always used, and the ingredients were simple. And over the years, I've tried all sorts, and I've also had a go at making my own. And there's something really satisfying about making your own, because you know exactly what goes into it. Now, there was a period when I didn't put it on. It was only a brief period, but I noticed how dry my skin became. And a friend of mine mentioned a moisturiser I should try, and did. It was very expensive. It was different to my usual ones, but I didn't really find any difference. And I think that taught me that it's not about the price, it's what actually is in the product and how it works for you. And I worked it out with this cream. It would have cost me £3.33 a day, so it was expensive. It really was. Yeah, on and off I've tried different ones. I've even tried the simple moisturisers from supermarkets, and I feel that they're just as good as some of the really, really expensive ones. And thinking back, it's a good reminder that small things that you do every day actually matter. Now, like I say, I've made my own moisturising cream. I've got it here. That's a very old pot of one that I purchased, but I know what's gone into this, and it's very pleasant. I used the almond oil and beeswax, the beeswax pellets. You can also get vegan ones, shea butter, and I also sometimes put arrowroot powder in to thicken the actual cream. can use distilled water, rose water, and it's optional, but I always put drops of essential oils. I think I started with lavender and even frankincense. So you melt the butter and the beeswax. You put it in a glass bowl on a saucepan, heated water saucepan, a bit like when you're melting chocolate. So you do that until it thickens and thickens, and then you take it away and add the other sort of ingredients that you want to put in, for example, the essential oils. I have started to add a little bit of vitamin C and even retinol, and I find it really effective. I mean, if I just take this one out here and put a little bit on my skin, it's very hydrating, and it's really simple to make, and you feel good because you know exactly what's gone into it. And when you put it on, oh, it's good underneath makeup. It's good before you go to bed. I think before you go to bed you add a thicker amount of arrowroot to thicken it up, and then it just feeds, and it feels comforting as well at night. I like it, and I don't think you can beat having a go at making your own, because it's very, very smoothing, and I love it. I've made quite a few over the years. I think I started to make it mainly during COVID. I read up about it and I thought, right, I'll give this a go, and that's mainly what I use. I've also read about castor oil, how that can be very good. Just a basic castor oil. Again, I just had a little bit of vitamin C, and at night I'll rub that in. What have you found? Do you have to spend a fortune on expensive products to look good? Let me know. Put down. I think it's consistency that matters more than cost. No, it wasn't feasible for me to continue to buy that very expensive cream when it worked out at 33p a day. Whereas making your own, you feel really satisfied. You think, oh, I've achieved something. And because all the products are natural, then what have you got to lose? Drop me a comment and let me know what you think. So thank you for sitting with me today. It's been lovely. Enjoy your tea, and I look forward to seeing you next time at the kitchen table.